So, our role in the nuclear life cycle. Well, we've probably seen it all and done it all. As an organisation, we've experienced a whole nuclear life cycle, from power generation to defuelling to now decommissioning. As I alluded to earlier, we have a highly skilled workforce of nuclear professionals who are extremely familiar with the intricacies of our sites and their histories. But we're not experts in developing solutions for demolition or deplant. And it's key that we build strong relationships with the supply chain, making use of your expertise. The fundamental aim of our decommissioning programme is to remove all radiological materials and hazards, removal of conventional hazards such as asbestos, deplant, demolish, and safely dispose of our existing infrastructure, slowly restoring areas back to their natural state, transformed for use for future industrial use, or even new homes or businesses. And now I'll hand over to John, who will share with you some of our plans for our site at Trawsfynydd.
So there's a couple of pictures on the screen there showing the construction. As you can see, lots of concrete, and actually they're clad with precast concrete panels, the reactor buildings. And you can see the bottom picture there, the site as it is currently, and the reactor buildings as they are currently. So why are we reducing the heights of the reactor buildings? Well, one, they're way beyond their intended design life, and we've already spent a significant amount of money just keeping that building up and safe. And the reason we do that is because there's a nuclear reactor in the bottom of it, that building the integrity of the building needs to be good. In particular, we need to make sure that our reactors are sort of dry and warm so that the reactor doesn't deteriorate. So that's number one. Number two, as I mentioned earlier, we're in a national park. So about 20 years ago, we made a commitment to our local stakeholders and the community that we would reduce the visibility of those buildings. And if any of you have ever been there, you can see these buildings from 10, 20 miles away. So that's number two reason. And finally, the third reason is it's our starting point for reactor dismantling. So, reactor dismantling, what's that mean? Height reduction, what's that mean? So, reducing the heights of the building, we've done a lot of enabling work. So, as I mentioned, we've deplanted all the areas, we've cut our boilers and stored them below and closer to the reactor. We've also had to build a roof within the building, which is this red bit you can see there. So, we've built another concrete roof there, and the reason we've done that is because we need to keep that reactor dry. So when we demolish the top part of that building, we want to be absolutely sure that that reactor isn't going to get wet and isn't going to be exposed to the elements. However, above that cut line, where above the red, it's conventional demolition. So again, this is a 3-year project. You can see the cut line on the top left-hand side there where the building will be cut. There's an impression of what it will look like in 3 years' time when we've finished. And the red goes and the green stays. It's as simple as that. So it's around about £100 million project for us. And looking at the stats there, 26,000 tonnes of reinforced concrete, a few thousand precast panels, and 14,000 tonnes of steel. And that sort of work that we did up front on the previous, on some of the previous presentations where we've been talking about doing the work up front, understanding what your waste is, what materials are going to come out of the building, and have the plan before you even start and before you go to tender. We have absolutely done that in this case. So yeah, we have a plan for all of the material already. So that's height reduction, which will happen in the next 3 years. I just want to touch on what's after that, which is the reactor dismantling. So I've got a very short video that I'll show in a minute. There's a picture there of the reactors being constructed in the late 50s, early 60s, which is always good to see. So I'm going to have to talk very quickly on this video because it's a minute long and I've got a lot to say on it. But twinning with some of the earlier presentations, we have developed a digital twin for our reactor buildings. And we are doing deconstruction virtually, and we're getting that level of detail and level of granularity in there now so that we can play with that and make sure we get the most efficient way of dismantling both the conventional stuff outside it, so the buildings, as well as the nuclear reactor itself. So.